original title, Managing Stress at Work. That's actually pretty clear, right? You're like, yeah, I know what that's about. Okay. Yeah. Doesn't really sound like something I want to click on, though. What about Stress SOS? Proven strategies to stay calm at work. Yes, please. Oh my gosh, this person drives me absolutely crazy. I'm always stressed out. Please help me. Do you have any tricks that can help me deal with this difficult person and stay calm and not lose my cool? Such a big difference from managing stress at work.
Welcome to Launch It, the Podcast Maestro, your gateway to becoming a thought leader in your field. Dive into the world of elite podcasting and master the art of influence and inspiration. And now, podcast personality, award-winning author and actress, Anne Scottlin.
Hello, welcome back to Launch It, the Podcast Maestro with me, Anne Scottlin, and soon to be some new guests. I'm excited to tell you who is coming shortly. And if not this episode, I will let you know next time. I'm literally waiting on something right now to hear back. And welcome back to this series, the podcast. I'm never, ever going to name this again. The Podcast Power Playbook. I have to massively slow down to say that. Welcome back to episode 10 of 10 in our series, the Podcast Power Playbook. And today we have an exciting episode to round off our series with. I think you're really going to enjoy it. One of the little things you never think about is hooking your listeners instantly. And how are we going to do that? So before I get started, please be sure to like and subscribe. And thank you again just for joining me and streaming with me here today. Shoot this link to someone else who might enjoy hanging out with us for a few minutes and talking about podcasting, world-class podcasting. How can you become a thought leader in your field through a world-class podcast? Are you struggling to get your listeners to click on your podcast? A lot of people say, I know I have a really good podcast. The content is great. I've had good reviews. Why is my listeners so low? Why can't I get them to click? Well, in today's episode, we're going to uncover the secrets behind crafting, podcast titles and descriptions that will really draw your audience in from the very start. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Hook your listeners instantly. Boost your clicks with perfect titles. It sounds easy, but there is something to it. And secondly, stick around because at the end of the episode today, I'm going to share with you the number one secret to creating irresistible podcast titles. Super easy. You'll want to stay around for that best thing. This one tip can seriously turn your podcast into a listener magnet. So let's get started. Please send your comments as we go. I would love to hear from you or questions so I can respond to those. The power of a catchy title. Titles are so important. And I think that so often they are so overly neglected. If you scan through not only the names of podcasts, we won't even talk about that today, the names of podcasts themselves. But if you get in there and scroll down through their episodes and look at the names of the titles, you'll be shocked at how little time and effort seems to go into most people's, the majority, choice of podcast titles. They're boring, they're basic, they might say what it's about, but it doesn't catch you and grab you and make you want to click. And 70% of listeners decide to click based on the title alone, 70%. So if you're trying to get your number of listeners, your number of clicks, viewers up, then your title is hugely important. It's the cover of your book. It's the most important part of your show. And I would say that in the average podcast, even good ones, 98% of the time, effort, and planning goes into the production itself, audio or video production, into the host, the guest, the editing, and maybe 2%, if you're lucky, goes into the title. So let's see why this is so important. Let's use an example. So if you had a podcast in, let's say, a particular field, so we'll narrow it down just a little bit. And let's say it's called The Business Buzz. That's cute. I have no idea what it's about, but it sounds cute. And if I know the area of business, then I might click on it just for kicks. But what if you rebrand that to Business Hacks, Stories of Success and Failure? You want to hear stories, right? We've talked about a whole episode about stories. Everyone wants to hear stories, especially about failure. why we're human. I don't know why, but also the stories of success. So we want to hear the worst case scenarios. We want to hear then how to avoid those worst case scenarios ourselves, and business hacks. It's great, right? You're like, oh, that sounds fun. Even if it wasn't a topic that you were like, oh, I want to go hear someone talk about business stuff. But if you hear that, you're like, that could even be entertaining, possibly, even if that's not the normal podcast I would listen to. So click, right? So you see how you can easily double your listenership just by dedicating yourself to having the right kind of titles. You can really hook your listeners right away. So let's talk about these elements of a compelling title. What is it then? What is the magic behind the compelling title? Well, clarity and specificity, which is obvious. Although when I say clarity, I mean it's not just mushy and ambiguous. Maybe that goes without saying. But a lot of past podcast titles are just like working with the pros, learning from the pros. That's the episode title. Learning what from the pros? How is the algorithm supposed to pick up on that? Who is it supposed to promote that to? Maybe your guest is a pro, but come on, like, how do you be more clear and more specific, right? How do you say, include the name of your guest and their area of specialty? Better yet, their best hack, right? The best hack of blankety blank, the person. Already you have my attention. It's just better. And emotion and curiosity. Like, is there energy in your title at all? Is there energy in the title marketing tips? Sounds like a black and white paper magazine article that you really, really do not want to read, even if you're trapped on a plane. Marketing tips. Where's the emotion? Where's something that, like, people want to get away from their everyday doldrums in life in so many ways. They want to, that's why entertainment excels. That's why podcasts do so well in many cases, because it's a diversion, right? So you have to come to this with emotion, with curiosity. Having worked in Hollywood and being both in front of the camera and behind the camera, I've learned how important this is. You have to capture people with, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be entertaining. And then lastly, and this is one that I occasionally have to have fun arm wrestling matches with my clients on: brevity. What is the deal with people who think you have to have such a long title and describe everything down to the letter, which conceptually sounds good, very specific, more keywords maybe. It doesn't even fit on the line, the number of characters allowed by your platform, by your audio or video platform. You can't even read the whole title. All you get to see is the first 2/3, and you have to guess the rest. If you can, just like anything else, a book or anything else, if you can just label things and keep them short, it's going to get people's attention. Boom, they know what it's about. Don't worry, it doesn't have to just be 2 or 3 words. It can be more than that. All right, so back to the example of marketing tips, right? What if you change that one to something more compelling? What would you suggest? Come on, give me an idea. If it was other than just marketing tips, what would you call it? What about marketing magic? Ooh, you see the double M there? That's always good in sales. The 2 letters that sound the same, beginning both words. There's actually a definition for that. I can't remember what it is right now. Marketing magic, 5 tips to triple your lead. So you see how it's short to medium. So if nothing else, you're always going to see those first 2 words, marketing magic. And in most platforms, you're actually going to see the rest. So this would be marketing magic, 5 tips to triple your leads. Well, first of all, who doesn't want 5 tips? Who doesn't want to triple their leads? Who would love to learn how to triple their leads in only 5 ways, 5 tips, by only doing 5 things differently? And if that is waving the magic wand to create more marketing for your podcast, service, business, whatever it is, then why wouldn't you want to, right? All right, before we go to our commercial, I am going to just tell you a little bit more about crafting these engaging descriptions. And remember, you have a space, a memo, a paragraph, sometimes room for a whole article under your podcast, depending on the platform you use, where you can go into great detail of what it's about. Some of them even have room for you to include, the entire cast, right? What am I trying to say? The entire transcript. can be included even there, depending on how much space that platform gives you. So you have plenty of room to add keywords, to show people what it's about. Those first 1-2 sentences are going to be really powerful and really important to your audience if they want to know more. But if they don't read the small print, and honestly, unless they're already a massive fan, most people don't, you're just going to have to keep it short. Marketing magic, 5 tips to triple your leads. Podcasts with detailed descriptions like that have a 30% higher retention rate. Now, if you're new to podcasting, it doesn't mean how well you remember the content. I wish, hopefully they remember more than that. 30% retention rate means they will come back. Podcasts with detailed descriptions, once you hook someone, once you bring them in, they have a 30% greater chance of staying with you because they know they can flip over to your channel and instantly scan and know exactly what they're going to get and exactly if it's going to be fun and exactly if it's going to be interesting. So how do you do that? How do you find ways to take these elements and create that compelling title? Well, if you need help, you can always summarize key points. I always say, and that's the writer in me coming out, you start with something long and you compress. I would say for the average article or book or anything else that I create or publish, it probably gets reduced from 10 times its size down to 10 to 1 before it goes out, before what you guys actually see, because I compress. So say you have the 5 key points, the 5 magic tips, right? Okay, well, you might just copy and paste those points on your computer screen, those sentences from your outline, say. Now go pull the main words from those. Now start just using the main words to see if you can create one full sentence. Now look at that sentence and say, which piece of the sentence has the higher value, this part or this part? Or can I conflate the two? Can I make 2 nouns, something and something, make more money? Can I just compress? Highlight what is valuable and include a call to action if you can. And in most cases in a title, it means listen to this now or watch this now, right? So an example of this would be, you could start out with a sentence that says, let's say you pulled this from your outline, this episode covers stress management techniques. Well, they do know what it's about. They don't know which techniques. They don't know what kind of stress management. Is it work management, home management? Is it counseling? Is it psychology? What? Episode covers stress management techniques. But what if you say, you break it down to feeling overwhelmed? Listen to these success stories. Or find out proven strategies to stay calm, right? Or learn how to be productive with expert advice on stress management. I'm just pulling these off the top of my head, so don't hold me to those. But if I have a little more time, I will just take these apart, take them apart, and reduce them down. If you're a cook, I love to cook. I love gourmet cooking. So if you are a cook or a foodie, bear with me. When you want to create a reduction of something, let's say you want to create a raspberry sauce to go on your desserts, you take those raspberries, you cook them down on a low temperature, raspberries and sugar, for a long time until it's literally just juice. Then you pour them in a strainer, you take out all the seeds, that's taking out all the unnecessary words, and you get rid of all the seeds, you put the juice back in the pan, and you might heat it a little more and evaporate it even more. So compress. That's how you can really find excellence. And that's what we're talking about here on Launch It, the Podcast Maestro, is excellence. How do you create a world-class podcast? If you really want to get the attention you deserve, if you really want to become a thought leader in your field, it's these little extra tricks that are going to make you stand out when other people look at your competition and go, oh, I don't even know what they're going to talk about. I don't even know if it's going to be fun. All right, we are going to take a break right now, go to our commercial. And while you're doing that, do me a huge favor so I can keep this content coming to you. Please subscribe to whatever channel you're watching, shoot me comments. You can go to my website, annescottlin.com. My email is there. You can leave me a message right there directly. You can go to LinkedIn, or you can just reply here on the platform that you're listening to or watching today. And stay close by. Copy and paste this link and share it with someone else who might have fun hanging out with us today. We'll be right back.
Picture this. You have worked your whole life to become an expert, a leader, a change maker, but you're so busy, most people will never discover you to recognize your work. Anne Scottlin, founder of Podcast Maestro, understands this challenge. With a decade of Hollywood experience and a proven track record as a business coach, Anne turns seasoned professionals into thought leaders through the art of podcasting. Podcast Maestro offers plug-and-play services, handling everything from pre-production to distribution, so you can focus on your message while Anne and her team manage the rest. Leverage Anne's Hollywood production knowledge, strategic business insight, and social media expertise to amplify your reach and impact. If you're ready to elevate your voice, connect with Anne Scottlin at Podcast Maestro and begin your podcast journey today.
Welcome back to the second part of the podcast today here on Launch It, the Podcast Maestro. I'm Anne Scottlin, and you are listening to the last episode of our series, the Podcast Power Playbook. This is episode number 10. This has been a fantastic series. We've had amazing feedback about it. And today's, which seems like some of the smallest things that matter in creating a podcast, actually can be one of the most important. Today is hook your listeners instantly. Boost your clicks with perfect titles. And I mentioned earlier that it's 70% of listeners decide to click based on the title alone. So if you're not getting the listens you want, if you're not getting the numbers you're looking for, then start spending a little more time on your titles. So we've talked about a few things already. We talked a little bit about, the importance of titles. We talked about the elements of a compelling title. You can go back and listen to those if you happen to miss it. How do you craft that engaging description? And now I want to talk about case studies a bit more and real-time examples. So let's have fun with transforming average titles or descriptions into compelling ones. So for example, original title, Managing Stress at Work. That's actually pretty clear, right? You're like, yeah, I know what that's about. Okay. Yeah. Doesn't really sound like something I want to click on, though. What about Stress SOS? Proven strategies to stay calm at work. Yes, please. Oh my gosh, this person drives me absolutely crazy. I'm always stressed out. Please help me. Do you have any tricks that can help me deal with this difficult person and stay calm and not lose my cool? Such a big difference from managing stress at work, which sounds like some really boring lecture, to Stress SOS, proven strategies to stay calm at work, right? Here's another one for you. And then I'm going to have you help me. Original description. This one could be, this episode covers stress management techniques. So now this is the description. So the first one was the title, Managing Stress at Work. And the revised title, Stress SOS, Proven Strategies to Stay Calm at Work. And your original description in that memo space would be, this episode covers stress management techniques. Again, okay, fine. What if you rewrite that? Feeling overwhelmed at work? Ooh, what? Emotion, interest, connecting. In this episode, I'm going to reveal proven strategies to help you stay calm and productive, featuring expert advice and real-life success stories. So tune in now and reclaim your peace of mind. Yes, please, right? Already you're like, I want to go from a state of discomfort to comfort, right? It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs or anything else, right? Humans moving away from discomfort towards comfort, away from pain towards pleasure. So if your episode title makes your audience feel that they can feel better at the end of it, have solutions, feel lighter, feel happier, feel entertained, got something really valuable to walk away with, they're going to click. So now I am going to give you a chance to play this game with me. If you happen to be watching, it's going to be easier. If you're listening, no problem at all. I'm going to read you some titles and have you brainstorm on what the solutions could be. This is the old teacher coming out in me, but let's do this. We are going to play a game called Boring Titles, Exciting Titles. And I wish you were right here in the room with me because we could have a lot of fun doing this. You can send me, though, in the comments, you can send me the titles you suggest that you think are even better than the ones I came up with. So let's do that. So are you ready for the boring title? The first one, Tips for Healthy Eating. Oh, wow. We know exactly what that is. But you know how many podcasts out there with titles? This is something like Tips for Healthy Eating. Just get on YouTube and search it. It's overwhelming. What is going to make you click? Suggestions? Thinking? Give me one word that's a good one for you that would get your attention for this. All right, time is out. Supercharge your health with these eating tips. This is good. It's strong. You're starting with an action word. Supercharge your health with these eating tips. I still think it's a little too general. That's just me, but we'll have to come back to that another time. How to save money. Oh my gosh. How many podcast shows, articles, and everything else to how to save money. It is overused. So how can you spice that up and make it more interesting? Financial freedom. Did you see that right away? That weight off your chest feeling. Financial freedom. Top secrets to saving big. Now, my criticism of that one would be, sounds a little kitschy, like there might be a hook, like I would like it if you told me a little bit more specifically what I'm going to learn about, what makes this different, and are you just trying to sell me something, or are you actually going to give me valuable things to take away? And this is why it's so helpful to see titles that say like the 2 top tips professional investors make, something like that, right? Would be fabulous. All right. Basic yoga poses. Okay, cool. I like yoga. Let's do that. Basic yoga poses. Again, just look on YouTube or look, this is more likely a visual podcast like this one. What could you do to make that more exciting and more accessible? Thoughts? Somebody come up with an action verb. I can think of 2 or 3, but let's see what I had here. Transform your body. Essential yoga poses. Wow. So you see how it's essentially almost the same words. Essential yoga poses. Essential is more powerful than basic because basic is like your ABC, 1, 2, 3. Essential is if you only ever learn these 3 poses, this is what's going to make a difference for you, right? And transform your body. Everyone wants to transform your body. I would take it a step further. You know me, I'm all about helping my clients niche out. I would say something like transform your midriff, 3 essential yoga poses. I think that might get more attention. We got to hurry. Learning time management. Okay, good. Also 1,000 episodes on time management. What would you suggest? Save more time, have more time for your kids. What would you suggest? Master your day. Ultimate time management hacks. That's good. It depends on your subject matter, right? Let's say this really was a show about parenting. What if you said more time with your kids, time management hacks, or more time with your kids, time management hacks for more time with your kids. See where I'm just going with this? Baking a chocolate cake. I'm going to have to speed up here. Decadent delight. Okay, you got me there. I'm the foodie. Now I want chocolate cake. This is ruining my diet today. I can't even believe I wrote this out. Decadent delight. Perfect chocolate cake recipe. Understanding SEO. Oh my God. Okay. Since I am not an SEO specialist, I know how it works. I work with SEO specialists, but I am not personally an SEO specialist. That just sounds like the most boring thing in the world to me. And I know someone who's watching or listening who is very good at this. So that would be not the same for that. But how do you want, if your whole show is on SEO, this has to be way more specific. If your show is on marketing podcasts, then understanding SEO is good. But how would you take it up? SEO Unleashed, boost your website traffic today. I think SEO Unleashed is great. I think boost your website traffic today is obvious for anyone who already knows what the purpose of SEO is. So I would change it to something else. SEO Unleashed, 2,000 more clicks a week, right? Let's find something accurate. It's achievable. No pie in the sky, let's be honest. But check it out. Benefits of exercise. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm not even going to bother. Transform your life, the incredible benefits of exercise. It's still too close. See, and this is where I go back to things over and over. You have no idea how much time I spend working on titles, editing, wordsmithing. I'm a complete nerd about it. You know, I could spend 2 hours just on this one, but we would come up with something that's really, really fantastic. So I would say transform is an active word, but what could be even better than that? Feel like asterisk, question mark. Fix it with this one hack. Could be as simple as 8 glasses of water a day, or 8 glasses of water a day, or walking for 10 minutes. So you see how powerful that is. The power of words, guys. Planning a vacation. Well, that sounds fun. But to where? Like, I'm not going to click on a podcast that says that. It would have to be more specific. It would have to say, planning a vacation with kids under 5. Oh, okay. If you're a parent, then you're going to know exactly what that means, right? Or planning a vacation, the Maldives, really specific, right? Dream getaway, the ultimate vacation planning guide. No, I liked my new one better. Beginner's guide to meditation, peace unlocked. I would even keep it simpler than this. Your meditation today. Today's meditation, 5 minutes. Peace unlocked in 5 minutes right now. All right, last but not least, and then I'm going to move gardening at home. Again, general, good titles. We know what it's about, but it's not enough. Flourish at home. Ooh, wow. You got my attention for starters, whether you're a gardener or not. I am. I love gardening. I like a lot of things. It's a problem. Flourish at home. That could be health. That could be cooking. That could be gardening. That could be family management. That could be time management. That could be working from home. But you already got my attention. So that is a huge win. Flourish at home. In what way? Top tips for a stunning garden. And assuming that this is a podcast that's something about gardening or food or recipes, you've really got me. Flourish is a word that we all love. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you played along with my game here today. All right, we have just a couple more things I want to mention to you before we have to wrap up. So lastly, some pro tips and final thoughts for you. What are my pro tips? Use keywords. I'm going to do a whole episode on keywords to help you understand how important that is. Many of you do. A lot of people think they do and say, I should use words that describe what I'm doing, that are relevant to my brand, that are relevant to my podcast title, the name of my show. I should use keywords that would appeal to me, not appeal to you, appeal to your existing listeners and what will bring in more. So pay attention to keywords. If you're already good at keywords, use them, do your thing. If you're not, come back, check out an episode I'm going to do on keywords. A/B testing. If you've been doing this a while or you're in marketing at all, you know what that means. It means testing one style over another style, or one message over another message, or one post over another post. This could be social media. It could be podcast titles. It could be anything. So you could play with your podcast titles. You could create a little spreadsheet and decide, okay, I'm going to promote the premiere episode of this podcast with this title. Here's an alternate title that I could have used, which is significantly different in some way. And when I repost it, I'm going to post it with the new title, and I'm going to see which one, as a new post, gets more clicks. Or the style of writing. Is it one word, colon, a phrase? 2 words, colon, a phrase? Is it a phrase and then a colon and one word and an exclamation mark? Is there a pattern that kind of makes your brand stand out? And not only listen to your audience, ask them. Your audience is your most valuable center of feedback. My goodness, so many people spend time trying to appeal to new viewers, and they never ask their existing clients, existing viewers and listeners what it is that got their attention, what they liked best. You can do A/B testing on your social media platforms. You can put it out there and say, hey guys, since you already follow and love this show, I just have to ask you, which vibe strikes you better, A or B? On any platform almost, you can, social platform, LinkedIn, any of them, Instagram, you name them. You can have at least a 2-question quiz or a 2-question poll, P-O-L-E, not P-U-L-L, poll, a 2-question poll, and get their feedback and find out. Because we know that podcasts with optimized titles and descriptions receive 50% more clicks. And as I shared earlier, 70% of people decide what they're going to listen to or watch in a podcast based on the title. So I'm super glad you've joined me here today. Don't go away. I'm going to share one of the things that's coming up next for you. But thank you so much for being with me through this 10-part series, the Podcast Power Playbook. If you would like to hear the rest, click back or go down to the notes and click on the playlist so you can just pull those up. And I'd love to hear from you. Send me your comments, your questions, your suggestions for guests, your suggestions for subjects here on the Podcast Maestro. Launch it. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And so that's a wrap on 10 of 10. And I really hope you found it insightful. Oh, I have my bonus for you still. My promise Bonus, what is the number one secret? My number one secret to getting more clicks with your title. Always start your title with a powerful action word or promise. I alluded to this earlier today, but I wanted to articulate it specifically. If you do nothing else, start your title with a powerful action word or a promise, not with teams speak out or avoid nouns. You could, instead of tips for public speaking, use verbs, be a wordsmith, use your online thesaurus, use any number of tools available to you. Captivate any audience. 5 public speaking secrets. I can't say S's and P's today at all. Tips for public speaking. Action. Come up with an action word or promise. This kind of has both. Captivate any audience, action word, promise, 5 public speaking secrets. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like it, subscribe, leave a review, share it with your friends. Keep launching your podcast, keep creating. And next time, come back. We're going to have more for you with SEO and several other topics. So until then, stream with us here each week on this platform at the same time. You can click the link anytime and hear it again. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time.